You're listening to Popcorn Unscripted,
the podcast where we dive into movies and TV shows with no scripts, no filters, just real talk and plenty of popcorn.
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Dylan.
We're here to talk about everything we love
and love to hate
in pop culture. So grab your popcorn,
sit back,
and let's get this show started. Alright, so tonight we are heading to Cold Mountain Penitentiary, where miracles, morality, and mortality all collide. Welcome to episode 37. I am joined by Phillip Dukarsky today, so welcome, Phillip. So I would like you to go ahead and introduce yourself, kind of tell us what you do, and all of that kind of stuff.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Bailey. So as mentioned, I am Phillip Dukarsky. So I work in the marketing sphere, but my background is in film, both from a writing standpoint. I've done some directing, took a shot at acting. That one didn't work out too well, so we don't need to go too in depth on that one. But yeah, so I've kind of got a long career of loving and working with film, which I've then turned into my career that actually pays, which is working kind of in the marketing sphere here in Dubai, where I live.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So did you have any particular reason why this movie was chosen?
Honestly, I was open to anything, and when you mentioned it, I thought, you know what? I haven't seen Green Mile probably 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I know I saw it in theaters. I'm aging myself a little bit. Yeah, I'm aging myself a little bit here. I was maybe 15 or so, 16, 14, something like that when it came out. So I saw it in theaters. And I know I've seen it once or twice over the years, but definitely not in the last probably 15 years. And it's not one of these movies that you really see on TV or on cable very often.
Mm-mm. It's not even on, like, streaming platforms at all. You only can rent it, unfortunately. As I found out yesterday when I went to go rewatch it, I was like, well, crap.
It is a hard one to find for
it is.
Popular Oscar-nominated movie. You'd think it'd be kind of easier to find, but...
Yeah. Especially since it has the great Tom Hanks in it, too.
Yeah. It's, the cast, like,
Spectacular cast, yeah. This is a movie I had grown up watching. I actually when did this movie come out?
99.
This movie came out a year before I was born. I'm 25, but I grew up watching this movie along with a bunch of other Tom Hanks movies, because he was also in Toy Story and things like that, and I was just kind of introduced to that. So did it hit differently when you rewatched it at all?
Honestly, and this is probably not what you wanted to hear. Upon rewatch, I actually liked it quite a bit less than I remembered.
Really? That's interesting.
So the strengths were still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like storytelling-wise, the Stephen King book. I haven't read the book, but I'm sure it's good. The acting is excellent across the board. Hanks is great. Michael Clarke Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I thought he was better when I was younger, but still good. Just the cast. The cast now is actually better than when it first came out, because a lot of the actors in it, like Sam Rockwell, who were just background guys back then, have since done a lot of stuff. So
a
lot about it held up well, but some stuff really I struggled with. I thought there's a cheese factor to it, which
there is a little bit
of the time, and a lot of filmmaking from that era had it. The slow motion, over the top kind of histrionics with the lightning and
yeah.
I did not hold up as well.
It didn't.
The length was a bigger problem than I remembered.
Yeah.
Isn't it long.
Isn't it like 2.5 hours?
It's 3.
It's 3? I went 3
hours.
I didn't even realize I went 3 hours, if I'm going to be honest. Because I watched this late at night, before I went to bed. I didn't even realize it was 3 hours. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I survived.
It's I think it was trying to be Shawshank Redemption, and well, nothing can be Shawshank Redemption. It's still good. The acting's still good. Like, it's still, it still pulls the heartstrings. It still
Mm-hmm.
hits in the right places. It's oh, I just got a doorbell. Very
That's
odd
random.
timing for that. Yeah, that is very random. Um, it is still good in ways, but it's just I think I remembered it being better than it was. That's what I would say. I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can agree because even with me rewatching it at 25 and then growing up watching this movie, rewatching it now, it's just kind of like, oh, it's just another Tom Hanks movie to me now. And it's still a good movie. I still enjoyed it, but yeah, I can see what you're saying, how it doesn't really hold up as good. Um so what stood out most to you emotionally? Did anything stand out to you during this rewatch?
So it's interesting. One of the parts that I thought was kind of the most belaborous and unnecessarily long actually emotionally had a good peak to it. Like the very ending where it's not Hanks anymore, it's the old man,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that crescendo to, oh, he is going to live forever as punishment because he let a good man die. I thought the that last 2 minutes
Mm-hmm.
hit perfectly well. I thought, oh yeah, that's like
Yeah,
it
I think
finished,
so
and I was
too.
like, oh, okay, that. It's just unfortunately there was another 20 minutes with the old man before that led up to it, which.
Right, right.
But I thought, yeah, the ending emotionally hit well. I thought the death of Delacroix, the
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really well done. And when you think the mouse gets squished, and then the sponge is in there and it gets electrocuted, like I thought that was really strong.
Yeah. I would say that's probably one of my favorite emotional scenes is when he gets executed. For sure. Very it's just like you just want to like reach through the screen and just slap Percy's face like right there. It's like, why did you do that? But like even when I was rewatching that scene, I was like, how come nobody noticed that the sponge was not wet before they actually shocked him? Because with the first guy that I got executed, he got water all over him. Like how did the guy when he put the actual electrical part on, how did he not notice that the sponge was not wet? That was my
Yeah,
big question.
I I had that thought as well.
Yeah, and then later on, Tom Hanks finally looked at the floor. He noticed that the water was still, and then he was like, "There's the sponge is dry." But there was
Yeah,
nothing he could do about it at that point. They were already about to go through with it.
yeah, that's even the kind of slow motion of Tom Hanks realizing the sponge was dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but nonetheless, I do think that was good.
Yeah, yeah, I can
I'm
agree.
the stuff with the warden, uh, the
Yeah,
guy, his boss, who John Coffey goes and saves his wife.
yeah,
I don't see any realistic way in like the 1930s a
yeah.
big prisoner like that big, that noticeable, is first broken out of the prison,
Mm-hmm.
then in the back of a truck, which is like pretty much the size of Michael Clark Duncan itself,
Yeah, yeah.
smuggled God knows how far. I don't see any way, no matter what Tom Hanks says, that his boss is letting this, double child murderer into the house
Uh-huh.
alone with his wife.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one didn't really do it for me. And then the special effects, so I don't know
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that is. Um, yeah, I'm sure that's out of the book, so I'm sure they explained that.
Probably like I'm like you. I haven't read the book myself either, so I wouldn't know. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like because you would think they would have passed somebody on the road to be like, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah,
That can question it. But I also agree that if I was in the warden's shoes, I wouldn't let that man anywhere near my wife, because
yeah,
I
no
wouldn't
matter
know
what
what he
they
was
say.
gonna do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you think of it more on like a emotional and spiritual level, I genuinely think the warden felt like at ease when he was there because his character does have that sort of sense of ease where like
Yeah.
wherever he is if you really think about it. And so I think he was like, okay, I'll see what he does. I
Yeah.
think he just piqued his curiosity. I should say.
No, I think you make a good point because it's the ease builds as John Coffey is walking towards him. Kind of like the closer Coffey gets to him, the more the warden kind of, the ice melts and
Mm-hmm.
he is
Feels
more
at ease.
amenable. So I
Mm-hmm.
think you're right on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because obviously with John Coffey, he's an allegory for Jesus. That's
Right.
JC. That's
Mm-hmm.
the and Jesus died for our sins. John Coffey died for the sins of humanity. There's a lot to unpack there,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole thing: can somebody that good exist on a planet like ours? With a humanity
Mm-hmm.
like ours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well the film addressed it, but it was one of these. I'm always like I'm not a really religious. I'm not a religious person, but religion is the backbone of a lot of very interesting stories that can be told.
Mm-hmm.
But a movie like this, which kind of hammers you over the head with the metaphor, hammers you over the head with
Uh-huh.
the allegory,
Uh-huh.
there, I feel like they could have done it taken it one step down. Could have been a bit more subtlety.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with that. It definitely does have a lot of like religious sort of themes in it. But if you also think of the time period that you're in and also where they are, that kind of also plays a part in it too, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely 1930s
Mm-hmm.
South.
You also have
There,
going through the Great Depression at the time, and so that yeah. Was it what you expected from a Stephen King story? Was it something?
yeah, pretty much. Stephen
Yeah.
King has pretty much two temperatures: horror, sappy. Now, sappy sometimes is done excellently.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's a brilliant writer,
absolutely.
but his non-horror, he really likes to go for the big, like, yeah, even Shawshank. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. But even that, like the story itself, is a story of big sappy moments, just done extremely well.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty much what I would expect from Steven Spielberg, and even the director Frank Darabont, again, same guy who did Shawshank. So it hit all the familiar beats. And I will say this: I complain it's too long. I watched all 3 hours. It didn't lose me. I was engaged.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was the same way. Yeah. But I could also notice like the different acts too. So there's like 3 acts, so you each act is an hour. So it kind of like it's long, but the pace is great.
Yeah, I'd
If
agree on that.
yeah. Yeah, I would say the pace is really good and the story flows really good. It doesn't lose you, but I do think it is also one of those movies, and I've said this numerous times for other movies that I've reviewed so far. It's one of those movies that you could tune out if you wanted to and tune back in, and you would know where you are in the
Yeah,
story.
and you wouldn't have missed much.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It does a pretty good job with the side characters and kind of introducing them as they go. The Sam Rockwell character,
Mm hmm.
Delacroix before he's executed, Percy. Although I think Percy is such an over the top villain that
He is. He is.
like it's painful to watch at some points.
Yes.
Not always in a good way,
Yes.
but there are enough interesting side characters that you can tune in at any time and you'll be engaged for a time.
Mm hmm.
I found kind of as we get to the third act, which is more of the main John Coffey plot,
Mm hmm.
I actually found that a bit less interesting. I thought a lot of the side characters were more interesting to me than John Coffey was. He's interesting
Mhm.
as an idea, but
Mhm.
as a character, the whole childlike thing, again, it's really heavy-handed. It's really overplayed, and it's a lot of time to tell an obvious point. Whereas, kind of as they're just building up life in, was it Cold Stone, Cold Mountain? What's the prison called?
It is. I have it wrote down here, sir. I said it. Cold Mountain
Cold Mountain,
Penitentiary.
yeah. As they kind of build up just life in Cold Mountain Penitentiary, I found that interesting. I love when you watch a
Mhm.
movie and you get transported to a place, and
Mhm.
they do a good job of getting the little details, so you feel like, I feel like I'm here. I'm
Right.
living with these characters. I'm a fly on the wall.
Right.
Did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I can agree. I love that about this movie that they actually set up not just all of the characters, but they set up the world, like the world as a whole. And I do enjoy that because especially with all of that with the mouse. That's just a small little detail, but fits. It fits into the world so well. And you fall in love with that little mouse just like everybody else does. I love Mr. Jinx. He's
Yeah,
amazing.
I also love Mr. Jinx.
He's
He was,
amazing.
they've done a good job when one of the most emotional beats in the movie is when you think a mouse gets squished. That's
Mm-hmm.
like, no.
It's like, no, why would you squish the mouse? Which of course, Percy being Percy, you're just like, you little S word, you know?
Yeah.
but but yeah. So let's specifically go into like the breakdown of the movie, talking about Act One specifically. How do you think it set up all of those characters? How well do you think it set up for all of the characters in that first act?
So I think it does a good job of introducing the dynamics between the prison guards.
Mm-hmm.
You right away get a sense of who Tom Hanks is. You get a sense of David Morse, the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
You have Barry Pepper. He's clearly the younger one.
Mm-hmm.
You have two others that I don't think they really get names, and I don't recall the actors' names offhand. They're kind
Mm-hmm.
of like middle-aged guys.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then you have Percy again, immediately established. They do a good job of the rhythm with the prisoners. I didn't really understand if this was like the only thing in Cold Mountain Penitentiary or if it's part of a bigger penitentiary. I didn't really understand that.
I think it's a part of a bigger thing because as you're being introduced to the whole thing, you do see like prisoners outside working, and you see like the truck driving through. So I do think it's just like it's E Block is where it is. So it's a whole other like wing from the actual whole prison.
Okay,
I
brings up
think.
more questions around how they got him out of there to go to the warden's house. But anyways,
Yeah,
that
it does.
aside,
Continuity
yeah.
errors. We gotta love them.
No, I thought they did a good job introducing the dynamics. The opening kind of slow mo. He's running from the generic town folk with their pitchforks and their rifles.
Yeah, yeah,
That's one of those things that was of the time that I think doesn't hold up at all.
yeah.
The
It doesn't.
slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once
It
he
was
gets
kind
into the
of.
prison,
I would say that part was just kind of jarring because of how slow it was.
yeah, and I think so. It's funny. The actor who plays the dad of the girls that were killed, William
William,
Sadler.
yes, I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with him now because I had done some Tales from the Crypt stuff earlier,
Yes.
and so I'm very familiar with him now. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know who that is.
I'm a big fan of William Sadler. He's one of these guys who has been in 1,000 movies. Most people don't know his name, but it's Die Hard 2. Oh, he's the bad guy. Oh, Dexter. He's on Dexter. Oh, he's on this. He's on that. He's in
Uh-huh.
everything. So I had forgot. Like, he's one of these actors where I'm saying now for me the cast is more, but I forgot he was in this.
Oh
So I was
yeah, I
oh,
didn't even know he was in this either. So it was kind of like a surprise. I was just like, oh, I know who that is now.
so that like yeah. Well, once we get past that part, we get to the prison. That sets
Mm-hmm.
up the first act well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought the whole scene where they execute the Native American fella,
Mm-hmm.
And then, they kind of do the dry run with, I think it's Harry Dean Stanton who's sitting there and like, rah, pretend to get electrocuted and
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I thought interesting, dragged out too long. Like, they could
Yeah.
have gotten the point across in about
Right.
10 minutes less screen time.
Right.
Um, but overall, I'd say the first act is quite engrossing. And that's.
Yeah. It certainly sets up for what eventually happens in Act 2. And it also sets up what happens with Paul and his issue, I should say. His issue that he's got going on. And which I believe it's in the first act where John Coffey actually helps him with that, is it not? Or is that Act 2?
I would think that's Act 2, but I don't really.
I want to say it's Act 2.
I feel like that's Act 2 because I would think we got at least 30 minutes till John Coffey shows up in that prison.
Oh, yeah, for
There's
sure.
a bit of setup till John Coffey shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the initial kind of setup. And so, yeah, I would definitely say it's Act 2. I can't recall if that happens before or after Sam Rockwell shows up. But,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of amusing that Tom Hanks' first line of the movie is something like, I really need to pee.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, I'm fine for a person pissing razor blades. That's what he says. Yeah. But, okay, so now we'll move on to Act 2. That was a good segue. So Act 2 kind of focuses on, like, Coffey's powers, and I think it gives you, like, a little more insight onto who he is, and why he was there with the girls, and what it means when he said, I was trying to take it back. I was trying to take it back, because that's something he keeps saying throughout the film, like, I just want to take it back. Like, the bad thing that happens, he takes it upon himself, and then he expels it. Is essentially how his powers work. So what do you think about how they did his healing powers and the moral dilemmas that they tend to spark throughout this act?
So I thought the way they kind of introduce his healing power with healing Paul's, I think it's a bladder infection.
It is. Mm-hmm. Urinary tract infection, yeah.
Yeah. The way they introduce it, I think, is well done.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't know what's coming, you don't exactly know. Obviously, there's something different about this guy, but you don't know what it is. So here, it's a nice little crescendo where you don't know exactly what's coming.
Right.
And then he gets this healing. And I thought there was some nice little details, like in the background, you can hear Delacroix screaming, like, boss, you're not allowed to let them touch you, boss. This isn't safe. Got these
like, and he's hollering for the other ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think they do a really good job setting that up. And then the payoff with Hanks going home and joining his wife, he's like, yeah, he's ready to go. It's magically cured.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a nice way to kind of kick off the second half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, the kind of, if we're going as the crescendo of the film, we start into the home stretch into the second half with a combination of this and Sam Rockwell arriving, because now you're adding an actual evil villain, not just like a coward villain like Percy.
Mm-hmm.
So you've just raised the stakes.
Right.
So now, on one hand, we're raising the stakes, but on the other, we're introducing the powers and the character that can meet these stakes.
Right.
And at the time, and I actually had completely forgotten that Sam Rockwell actually killed the kids, and that...
Yeah, I had forgot that too.
Completely forgotten that.
Like, I was waiting for him to be electrocuted like everybody else. I had completely forgotten about that.
Same. Like, I forgot Sam Rockwell was in the movie. I forgot that character was in the movie. And I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, oh,
So, yeah.
I don't remember this part.
Then it's like, oh, he actually has a ton of screen time in the second half. All right,
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
We're going there. All right.
Which
So, yeah,
would
that's
kind of I kind of enjoy his character though, because he provides a lot of challenges, not just for the guards, but for John Coffey as well, because John Coffey knows who that is and what he's done. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he knows that until he actually grabs hold of his arm in Act 3.
Yeah, I think he only finds that out when he grabs his arm.
Mm-hmm. And he sees what he had done.
Because he didn't see, he found the girls. He didn't see the guy kill the girls.
Yeah,
So
he just found the girls laying there, and he was trying to bring them back, but he couldn't. And then, yeah.
I agree with you on that character. I think it's a necessary character too, because we need kind of an injection of energy. We need it. By that point, we're already like an hour and a half into the movie. The pace isn't the quickest. Every character's already established. There's only so much Percy we can handle.
Yeah.
So we need some kind of just like
wild
shot
card
of energy. Yeah,
wild card.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in, and he's a wild card. You don't know what he's capable of. You know he's evil. You know he's a pure son of a gun. But what can you do? How far can he go? What can he get away with? And that's where really the tension starts to rise. That's where really you start to see what eventually turns out basically a direct contrast between good, which is John Coffey, and evil, which is, I actually forget the guy's name.
Wild Billy, because he had Billy the Kid tattooed on his arm.
Wild Billy, yeah. So the good John Coffey and the evil Wild Billy.
I can agree. So now, moving on to Act 3, since we had already briefly talked about the execution of Delacroix, and all of that kind of stuff, so in Act 3, we have the healing of the warden's wife. We have the guards, like, sneaking him out and all of this kind of stuff, and you also have the execution, and the fallout of everything and how everything happened. So how well do you think the movie executed all of that? And, what were your thoughts on just Act 3 as a whole?
So, I think the third act's the weakest of the movie. There's also one other point. There was also the scene where John Coffey puts the magic evil powder into Percy, then Percy shoots Wild Billy.
Yes.
Then Percy gets committed, and he still goes to the same facility he was meant to, except as a guest rather than a guard. The third act for me doesn't stick the landing, and if I'm honest, not just the movie, I'm sure the book wouldn't either, because the whole thing with the warden's wife, it strains credibility a lot. Even if we accept that he puts him at ease and the warden lets him in, the fact that they get him from the prison to there, then back
without any issues.
Yeah, and then the execution of John Coffey itself. Again, it's all right, over the top.
It's definitely the most emotional execution out of them all.
Yeah, and I mean it's understandable because they all came to love him. They all start welling up, tears. I would have expected that the townsfolk, the dad, would have been like, "Yo, why are you guys all crying?"
Right.
Etc. The conversation, I thought, the highlight of the third act is the conversation between Paul and Coffey, where basically, just tell me what you want me to do. And it's like, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. Paul desperately wants permission to, break John Coffey out. I don't know what he was going to do, but desperately wants permission to avoid the chair. And John Coffey, kind of just the indication that, you know what, this world he's too good to exist in this world.
So he just accepts it.
Yeah, because there's only so much pain he can take. which is, I think, this is where the Jesus allegory comes in, because he's dying for our sins because he can no longer live in this world.
Right.
So that conversation with the two of them was well done, but everything around it, for me, is kind of the weaker parts of the film. And yeah, the epilogue up until I don't know if we call it a twist, but until we see Mr. Jinx and we find out that they're both doomed to live forever. Up until then, I think the epilogue is just really drags. Also, even at the beginning, this is a framing device which I genuinely hate. Like, very few movies earn it. Where it's like it's told in flashback for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree. They probably could have took that all out and then maybe do just the epilogue.
Yeah.
You know, and just say, "Oh, well, this is what happened after," you know.
Take out the beginning, cut the end epilogue in half, and just cut right to, oh, he's in an old folks' home. He's walking. He finds the mouse. He explains to.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that framing device. A lot of movies do it, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I agree. It's not the best, but you know, it works for what it was in the time. I think.
And I would assume it's in the book. That's the
yeah.
I would assume it is in the book.
I would have to get the book and see, because I'm actually genuinely curious. But yeah. Let's see. Which plotline or moment hit the hardest for you throughout the whole movie?
Oh, Delacroix's execution. I think.
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Yeah.
I genuinely think Delacroix is the most interesting character in the movie.
Oh yeah, I would say he's my favorite out of everybody. He aside from Brutus, I like him a lot too. He's the guard.
Brutus, the big guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. Yeah. I actually, there's a really good, 2-minute throwaway scene, which I wish they did more of this kind of stuff to just build the camaraderie. When they're talking about, taking John Coffey out to heal the wife, and Paul is like, okay, my girls are in college, so I can take the risk. Brutus is a single man. He can take the risk. The kid, it's like, your kids are young. You can't take this risk. You're going to stay behind. I thought that was a great little scene that really gave depth to these characters.
I agree.
In a natural way.
Yeah. Because you find out just the taddest bit more about who these guys are and what they have. And yeah, I can agree. Let's see. So, moving on to talking about like the actors specifically and their performances. So first I've got Tom Hanks as Paul Edgecombe. I would say he was pretty steady and compassionate with this role. I think he did an amazing job, but then again, it's Tom Hanks. He always does an amazing job for the most part. So, what did you think about him in this role?
I think you said it right. Solid. It's Hanks. He rarely gives a bad performance. And he's good. I don't think it's anywhere near his best work. But I also think the character is probably one of the less interesting ones in the movie in general. So he's kind of, for the most part, playing the straight man to everyone else, really. So he's good. He delivers. It's a role that fits Tom Hanks like a glove.
It does. I can agree. Yeah.
And
I don't think this movie's not very Forrest Gump. I don't think it beats that, but
no.
but I would say this one's probably up there with one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies, by far.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be top 5 for me.
Really?
Yeah, like Tom Hanks. A year later, Castaway. He's brilliant.
I have still yet to watch that one. I still need to watch that one. That's a good one.
He's excellent. There's a movie he did in '93 called Philadelphia with Denzel.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one.
And Tom. It's an Oscar winner. Tom Hanks won an Oscar for it.
Okay. I
and
need to look up more of his movies then.
yeah,
There's a lot I don't know.
he has a very long and
He does.
storied and varied career. I
He
would definitely
does.
recommend Philadelphia. Denzel's great in it. Antonio Banderas is good in it. Tom Hanks is brilliant in it. Hanks, he plays a lawyer, hotshot lawyer in a law firm who catches AIDS, and they fire him for it. And so
Oh.
and Denzel is one of kind of the best lawyers in the city when it comes to um, like workplace stuff. But
Uh-huh.
he's also extremely homophobic.
Oh, no.
So he kind of is learning to deal with his prejudices
Mm-hmm.
while Tom Hanks is fighting for his life,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both working together to fight the law firm that fired Hanks. It's a really, really good movie. Highly recommend that.
I'll have to look at that one. That one actually sounds interesting. I'll have to look at that one. Um next I have Michael Clarke Duncan is John Coffey. We've kind of briefly talked about it. I would say this may be one of his most iconic, deeply emotional performances. I haven't really seen him in anything else. This is the only thing I've seen him in. So, you might could shed some light on that. But what did you
Yeah,
think of his performance in this?
it's good. He's good. I don't like the character much, as I mentioned, but I think
Mm-hmm.
he plays it the way he plays it perfectly, despite maybe the character choices and all the childlike stuff
Right.
not be appealing to me. But he plays it very well. It's definitely his most iconic role. He was
Mm-hmm.
nominated for an Oscar. It's his kind of he's gone. He's passed away now.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't remember if he had passed away already or not. So, yeah.
so this would be like I didn't read his obituary, but this would be kind of the first movie listed in the obituary. Um, it's also the biggest role he ever had. He was mostly otherwise kind of a secondary actor. Actually, a few days after watching this, I rewatched a movie from the year before called Armageddon,
Okay, yeah.
which I love. It's cheesy as heck, but I love it. That's the kind of cheese that works for me better than the Green Mile style cheese. Like it's
I gotcha.
and Michael Clarke Duncan's in that.
Okay.
Smaller role, he's one of the oil guys that works for Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Funnily enough, actually, when I was because before I jump on a podcast to talk about a movie, I go online, I do some research.
Right.
So in the research for Green Mile, I found out that the reason Michael Clarke Duncan got cast in the Green Mile is because Bruce Willis recommended him after they did Armageddon.
Oh, that's neat. That's a neat fact. I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. That's
Yeah,
actually
I
really
didn't
interesting.
I didn't know that either, and I saw it on IMDb. But yeah, I'll agree. It's definitely Michael Clarke Duncan's most iconic role, his most emotional role, his quite frankly most prominent role. I think it's his
Mm-hmm.
only real
Big role.
major role in a major movie.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's more supporting and secondary.
Mm-hmm. I can agree. So going to look at the supporting roles such as Percy, Wild Bill, and you have Brutal as well. Was there any like standout supporting roles that stood out to you?
So Brutus, he's played by David Morse, who,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who came of age during this era, that actor was in everything.
Really
He
interesting.
is. He always plays a fairly similar kind of role, similar to this. Sometimes evil, sometimes good, but yeah, he's in everything. But this I actually thought was one of his best performances. And he's really good in it. Wild Bill, Sam Rockwell, who now is very well known. Back then, not so much.
I know
Um,
him from Iron Man 2 is what I know him from.
he won an Oscar for a movie called Three Billboards in something, Missouri.
Okay.
And he did a film which I highly recommend called Seven Psychopaths. It's got
That
like
sounds
Christopher
fitting for him
Walken.
though.
Yeah, yeah.
That
It's
just sounds fitting.
and he just did a stint on a show called White Lotus
Mm-hmm.
a couple of months ago, where he's in about 2.5 episodes, but he steals the whole season. Gave
Okay.
probably one of the greatest monologues in television history. Um, so yeah, seeing him then, I was like, wow, didn't realize he was in this. He looks pretty much the same. He hasn't aged,
Yeah, he
and
really does. Yeah, I
yeah,
can
he's
agree.
great. But again, my favorite secondary performance is Michael Jeter, who plays Delacroix.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jeter, I saw him. I've seen him in I think one other thing. He was in a Clint Eastwood movie from called True
Okay.
Crime,
Okay.
and yeah, I thought he was just so good at Delacroix. That to me is the
I
best
can.
performance in the movie.
Uh-huh. I can agree. Like I said, I think he's my favorite character throughout the whole movie. Like him with Mr. Jinx, it's one of the heartwarming things about the movie that just wants you to keep watching because you want to know what happens to him and and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I can agree. Um so did Percy's cruelty feel too exaggerated or just right for the story? We kind of briefly talked about it,
Yeah,
but I want to go more in depth into that character specifically.
too exaggerated. Honestly, the actor, his overacting, it's like he's literally frothing at the mouth. It seems like
I
it's
can agree.
the actor is overkill, the character is overkill. I think they definitely could have been a bit more subtle,
Mhm.
and and I know it's meant to be kind of the big payoff is, oh, he ends up being the one that kills Wild Bill, then he gets committed.
Mhm.
But yeah, honestly, what he does to Delacroix is so evil.
It
They could have
is.
toned everything else down by like 50%
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and still hit the same notes.
Oh yeah. I can agree. Like he's like I just hate that character. Like I did Gladiator, and I had expressed very much that I wanted Commodus to die throughout the entire movie. I wanted him to die so bad, like just from the first scene all the way to the end. I'm just like, somebody please. And Percy, I had the same feeling. I just wanted something so bad to happen to him, just just to get him out of the way, because he's just the worst. But yeah, he's like one of those like annoying college kids, like and like that's the vibe I got from him. Where he's kind of entitled, because it's mentioned he has all these connections and he could take away their jobs at any moment, and he kept bragging about it. Just an entitled brat is what
Yeah.
I would call him specifically. Um, so moving on to like the more so the themes and the takeaway. So the first thing I have is the mortality and justice. Was Coffey's arc a commentary on the death penalty? Death penalty.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think,
Okay. I think it's more of like a commentary on death as a whole, maybe.
yeah.
Not just specifically the death penalty, but death as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of putting it. Because as for the death penalty, like Delacroix's death might be more of a commentary on the death penalty,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's maybe a commentary on the that weird practice, something I never understood. Just
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I'm not old enough to have been alive when people
Right.
were getting executed, but when you see it in movies, and it's like I never understood, why do people show up to watch somebody die? Like, why is there an audience? Are we
Yeah.
watching a game here? What's going on? So I
Yeah.
think there was definitely a commentary on that side of it, because you see all these people that were so excited to see Delacroix die all get so disgusted and violently ill when they see him fry and burn.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe on that side, but I didn't really. Yeah, with Coffee, I didn't sense it was about the death penalty as much death itself.
Yeah. 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 I can agree. Um. So the role of miracles and faith. How does the supernatural fit into a prison drama?
I think the obvious way of looking at it is, so there's an old saying, there's no atheists in a foxhole, which basically
That's true.
means everyone needs to find something to believe in.
Mhm.
And I assume in prison, especially on death row, where you know your destination, you know your only direction is going to be to die.
Right.
Faith and having something to hold on to just becomes more and more important and grows in value to a person. So definitely, I think there is a lot of commentary on that fact, and that was part of the thematic mission that Stephen King initially and then Frank Darabont in the film had. And I'm trying to think how to best phrase this. The I would say the idea that Paul gets cursed because of his lack of acting on his faith,
Mhm.
while John Coffey dies specifically because he always acts on his faith. He
He
was with
acts on
those
his
girls because
intuition.
he was trying to save them.
Mhm.
That was the only reason he was with them. That's what
Right.
eventually leads to his execution. He died for his faith. Paul thinks he has faith,
Mhm.
but clearly doesn't have enough faith to act on it,
Right.
in which the act would have been finding a way to keep John Coffey from being executed.
Right. Right. Because I had always wondered that. I was like, why did he not try to find a way to prove that he was innocent? But then again, he was found with both of the girls with blood all over him, so it was safe to assume that he was the one that killed them. You know.
Yeah, I think it was like for John Coffey, it's almost his faith was not his faith, his fate was preordained
Mhm.
because when he first grabbed Wild Bill and realized, oh man, this is the actual killer.
Mhm.
By that point, he had already built trust in Paul and
Right.
in the other guards. He could have very easily said, guys, you know I have the supernatural thing.
Mhm.
I saw this. That man is the killer. That is the killer.
Mhm.
And then he showed it to Paul as well.
Right.
But before showing it to Paul, because by then Wild Bill was dead, so there's nothing to really be done.
Right.
But when he first found out, he could have said, guys, no, trust me, it's him, it's him. Look into it. And Wild
Right.
Bill's psycho. He probably would have admitted it if asked.
He probably would
So
have. Yeah.
he would have gloated about it. He would have been proud of it.
Mhm.
So I think the path for John Coffey was always preordained. He always was going to kind of have an expiration date on the planet.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's like the more I think about it, the more I think, well, how were the girls killed? Like how did Bill do that? Like we know they were you know, sexual assaulted and uh and killed, obviously. But we don't know like the extent of how they were killed, like because was there a murder weapon? Was it just with his bare hands? You know, there was a lot of factors that were missing that I guess the authorities didn't want to move into just because, well, John Coffey is also a black man as well, so there's like a racism thing there. And he was found with the body, so they just naturally assumed and didn't look more into it.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. It's big black man, two small dead white girls.
Mm hmm.
Right away, I mean, we're in the down south. 95% of people are as racist as it gets.
Uh huh.
So right away, even the potential thought that, oh, wait, maybe there's another answer
Right.
is not. I
Yeah.
think they indicate that very nicely when Paul speaks to the lawyer, played by Gary Sinise,
Mm hmm.
and where Sinise says, oh, he's a gentle, nice man, but he killed those girls.
Yeah.
It,
But then it's like, but how do you know that he killed those girls?
yeah, if
It's like, just because he was there doesn't mean he did it. You know?
but the movie does a nice job of the undercurrent of I know he killed those girls because he's black. That's kind of what the
Yeah.
implication is.
Mm hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think for John Coffey, part of the preordained expiration for him is knowing that at that point, in that place, in that kind of era of American history, he was never going to be accepted because he wasn't just a black man, he was a giant.
Right.
He stood out. He
Mm-hmm.
scared people just with his presence.
Mm-hmm.
And when people don't understand something, they get real scared.
Mm-hmm.
And when people think they can't conquer something, they learn to hate it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, so I've got a bit of a fun segment here.
All right.
We call this game Popcorn Roulette. So essentially, I'm just gonna ask like a series of questions. You can elaborate on your answer, or you can give quick answers. It doesn't matter. So the first question I've got is, what is your saddest moment in the movie?
Saddest moment in the movie, Delacroix's death.
Okay. Most cathartic moment.
Probably, yeah, I'd say Percy going to the mental institution.
Yeah, I would say that too. Yeah. Which performance deserves more love?
Michael Jeter as Delacroix and David Morse as Brutus.
I can agree. Let's see. Would the Green Mile work as like a limited series today?
Yes. In fact,
I
I think it would work better as a limited series than it does as a movie.
Yeah, I would agree because you could easily like chop it up into like different episodes. You could easily do that. I can agree. Which other Stephen King adaptation do you think pairs best with this one?
I mean, the obvious one's Shawshank.
Okay.
But Shawshank Redemption is such a better movie, so. But they're both set in prisons in the 30s and 40s. That one doesn't have the supernatural element,
Okay.
but yeah, it's.
I'll
same
have to look
director
into
as
that
well.
one. I've never seen Shawshank Redemption either.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, you need. That is one of
I'll have to look that one
the
up.
greatest movies ever made.
I'll have to look that one up. There's so many movies out there that I can't keep up with them all.
It's impossible.
It's just
But
impossible.
When you do start hunting, I would recommend Shawshank being one of your first ones. It's that good.
Okay. Okay. I'll keep that one in mind. And so now kind of getting to wrap up. So final popcorn rating. So out of 5 popcorns, what would you give this movie?
A 3.
A 3? That's solid.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty solid. And would you recommend this to younger generations that possibly wouldn't have grown up with this movie like I did?
I think it's worth watching. I think the themes will always age well because they are universal themes that aren't tied to a time and place.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think younger generations, kind of especially as the way we consume content changes,
Mm-hmm.
are going to struggle with the length
Yeah,
and some
I
of
can
the
agree.
kind of like the creative choices, the slow motion, and things that used to be part of film but aren't really used much anymore. But yeah, I'd still recommend it. It's worth watching.
All right. All right. Now, since we're wrapping up, do you have any plugs that you would like to talk about? Like any, like, socials or anything you're working on that you want to plug?
To be honest, I mean, I'm not one for much like self promotion.
I got
I
you.
have like the site right now I'm working on. It's an outlet for writers,
Okay.
so writerpath.com. But it's not really like it's not something I'm selling. It's just anybody wants to go on there, read writing by writers that don't have other outlets to publish their work, or if any writers want to come on there and publish their work, we're happy to do it. Just
Okay.
trying to get a place for people to get their writing up online without any having to build a name, without
Right.
having
Right.
to pay money. It's just, hey, you want to put your stuff up online available, throw it our way, we'll put it up for you.
All right. Well, I thank you for joining me. This has
I
been
have
a
one. I
great
have one
time.
question. I have one
Okay.
question.
Okay.
I've been staring at this the entire time.
Okay.
Is that Pedro Pascal over his
It
shoulder?
is. It is. It is. I was wondering if you would. I didn't know, but yes.
He's been staring at me this whole time. How can I not? He's in every movie these days, and he's on your sofa as well.
Yes. He's the actor I'm obsessed with at the moment. So if you go and look at all of the stuff I've done, there's a few of his movies that I've reviewed so far. More of it's more recent work that he's done than it is some of his past work. But I hope to get into some of his past work eventually. But yes, it is.
Yeah, he's great.
He is.
I don't know his past work. I know him from Narcos.
He
was on Game of Thrones, but I didn't watch
He did.
that. So.
He was on season 4 of Game of Thrones. He played a character named Oberyn Martell. That was his breakout role. Was that role, and then he eventually got onto Narcos as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I saw him. So it was nice because when he was brilliant in Narcos, and like I don't know who this dude is. And then now he's in every.
Now he's in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thank you for joining me, and I do sincerely hope we could do this again at some time. This has been a blast.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, Bailey.
You're very, very welcome. That's all for today's episode of Popcorn Unscripted.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Pop Unscripted, then Popcorn Cinema on Facebook.
And let us know your thoughts or any suggestions for future episodes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. We upload every Wednesday and Saturday.
If you'd like to send us a message or subscribe for bonus content, check out the links in the description.
Your support means a lot and helps keep the conversation going.
If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave us a review. It helps us out a ton, and we love hearing your thoughts.
Until next time, keep your popcorn close
and your movie critiques closer.
Thanks for listening to Popcorn Unscripted.